what is liquidity? What does it mean when the Fed removes liquidity as liquidity, and the impact on crypto and commodities? Because I know you've also written a lot about that too.
The way to think about liquidity, right, is cash available to trade for securities. And when the Fed does QE or when they do QT, what, most people think of them as like doing money printing in the traditional sense, but that's actually not what they're doing. What they're doing is they're creating what are called settlement balances or bank reserves. And those bank reserves are swapped for assets on commercial bank balance sheets, right? Mainly the
Mhm.
primary dealers, which are the banks that deal with the Federal Reserve and the Treasury buying and selling government bonds, but also obviously, financial institutions across the board because they're also buying MBS, and they also sometimes buy other bespoke instruments like agency ABS, which are asset-backed securities, as well as agency MBS and other smaller issuances. But what that means is that when they do QE, they're basically creating these bank reserves, which are essentially like money for the financial system. It's not money
Mhm.
that you or I could spend in the real economy, but it's money for banks. It's money for institutions that they can use to buy and sell securities. And that money will flow out and, basically you could say flood or fill up all these balance sheets. And as these institutions need to deploy capital, this means that they have to go out and invest.